The Impero Education Pro console is broken down into three key areas. The ribbon bar across the top with various tabs containing functionality relating to devices or users. The window on the left-hand side, which contains the grouping structure for both users and devices. And on the right-hand side, we have the device view itself. The ribbon bar at the top is completely customizable, and you can expose or hide features depending on who the user is. Equally, on the left-hand side, the grouping structure is totally permissions-based. Staff can only see the devices and users that relate to their cohorts or to their year group, and they are not able to see their colleagues' devices or the devices of students who are not in their charge. Within the device view, there are three different layout options. You can choose to have a computer list view. This enables you to drill down into specific devices, looking at the active windows and browser tabs that are running on the device and the recent history of the device, including the websites that have been visited, applications that have been run, and windows that have been created. From a safeguarding perspective, you can also see captures relating to that device or to that user. Alternatively, you can choose the live thumbnail view, enabling you to view the screens of a range of device platforms. Here, we can see a Microsoft Windows device, a Mac OS X device, an Apple iOS device, and a Google Chrome device. The final view you can select is the room layout. This gives staff the flexibility to move devices around to reflect the teaching space they are in at that moment. You can also import an image of the room and overlay the devices onto that image. This is a really powerful tool when trying to put a face to a name or a face to a device. Education Pro provides staff with a range of tools to support the teaching and learning environment and the delivery of inspiring lessons. This is centered on four key areas: focusing learning, saving time, improving communication, and addressing online behavior in real time. Focusing learning involves keeping students on task, maintaining their attention in the classroom, and minimizing distractions. The ability to lock a student's screen ensures that staff have the undivided attention of their students. This is useful when, for example, teachers are outlining the lesson's objectives or when they need to bring students back on task. Functionality enables you to lock a user's screen by simply selecting each screen individually or as a group. By selecting the Lock Screen icon, the screens of ticked users will be locked either indefinitely or for a specific period of time, as defined by the user. You can now see that the end user and computer has been blocked by an Impero policy, as stated on the user's screen. To remove the block, simply click on Unlock Screen on the ribbon bar and select Unlock Ticked Users. The device is then unblocked and users can resume using it. Broadcasting the teacher's screen or a student's screen to an individual or to the whole group can save staff invaluable time. Staff can use this to share resources, demonstrate a task, or showcase exemplary work, giving teachers the tools they need to deliver inspiring lessons and to engage their learners. In this example, the device which we want to broadcast to is already ticked, and we will broadcast My Screen to that device. Teachers have the option to broadcast the whole screen or a portion of the screen, as well as using the inbuilt annotation tools over the broadcast. If we click on Begin, you will see that My Screen is now being broadcast onto this Windows 10 PC. To stop the broadcast, click on End Broadcast and select Yes. To save teachers even more time, they can run a specific website for all users in a particular room or group. To do this, select the Action tab and click on Run Website/File. Select the Website tab, type in the website you want to send the users to and which browser you want them to use, and then click Launch. This will launch the Chrome browser and take the user to the website we have defined. The Allow list restricts all websites except those in the Allow list. So in addition to the school's web filter, staff can apply a device or use filter on top, removing the temptation for students to deviate from the lesson's objectives. To demonstrate this, we can select all of the users currently on these devices, Click on the Allow list and type in the web address we want users to have access to. This can be a specific URL or an entire domain. Click Add to add that to your list and then select OK. We can now demonstrate what will happen if a user tries to access a website other than the one on the Allow list. If we launch the user's Google Chrome browser and try to access YouTube, you can see that access is denied. If we now attempt to access the BBC website, which is on our Allow list, the user can do this successfully. Education Pro can also help you save time in a number of ways, automating numerous classroom activities such as assigning tasks, marking exams, sending URLs to multiple devices, and logging students on or off devices. All of these tools are designed to get students on task as quickly as possible. One of the ways you can save time involves the ability to create dynamic or static pin groups for students to join. This is useful, for example, when students are working outside of the traditional class sets in project-based learning or in mixed ability groups. It's particularly useful when we have one-to-one initiatives for iOS or Chromebook devices where they are not grouped together in the traditional sense. To create a pin group, you need to select the Add Pin Group option and give the group a name. You can see that a session pin code has been randomly generated by the system, and you can now activate the session. If we click on our newly created pin group, you can see that currently there are no students within the group. In this example, to show how a student would log into a pin group, we are remote controlling a Mac device by clicking on the Control option. Now we can join the pin group by clicking on the Join Pin Group button. Simply enter the pin code you were given earlier and submit the join request. If we now go back to the pin group named Egypt, you can see that the Mac device is now a member of the pin group. Another time-consuming distraction occurs when a student forgets their password and has to request for it to be changed by the IT team. To avoid this, Education Pro empowers teachers to quickly and easily reset user passwords directly from within the Teacher Console. To do this, select the Admin tab followed by the Change Password option. Enter the user, in this instance we will use our demo user, and create and confirm a temporary password for them. You can then select to prompt that user so that they must change their password the next time they log in. When using iOS devices, schools face a challenge in identifying which user is using a specific device, especially as users aren't automatically prompted to enter a username. Education Pro has the option to prompt a student to enter either their domain credentials or a username to help identify who is using which device. Starting with our live thumbnail view, we can see that there is an iOS device here. If you click on the Action tab and select Log on iOS device, you will be given a couple of options. You can ask users to log on using their domain credentials, or you can ask them to enter their name. Alternatively, you can set the device username yourself by writing in this box here. And you are also given the option to log the device off automatically at the end of the period. To demonstrate this, we will now select the device. I know this is an iOS device because I can see the iOS logo here. We can also see the name of the device, but not which user is logged on at the moment. Click Log on iOS device and select the options of your choosing. For this example, we will ask the user to enter their name, and we are going to allow the user to log themselves off when they are finished, rather than selecting to log them off automatically. By selecting OK, you can now see that the user is being prompted to input their first and last name. After entering these details, the user is logged on and their credentials have changed, allowing us to see which device is being used and which user is logged onto that device. Impero's classroom management tools help schools to improve communication in a number of ways. Firstly, it enables staff to send messages to individual users or to a group of users. This is useful, for example, if you see that a student is distracted in a lesson or appears to be struggling with the task at hand, and you want to send them a discrete message on their device without disrupting the lesson. To do this, you need to highlight the screen of the student in question Select the Send Message option, type in your message and send the message directly to that student. You can see here that the student has received the message, but there is no way of them responding. If you would rather have a two-way conversation with a student, you can open a dialogue with them through our live chat forum. You can also use the live chat forum to create a group chat, facilitating group work between students. This also ensures that users are working collaboratively in a safe environment with all of the safeguarding functionality and keyword policies that are inherent in Education Pro. To create a group chat, select the users you want to include, name the conversation topic, and select OK. Another invaluable tool available to staff is the Quick Question tool, which helps staff to measure the success criteria of the lesson, ensure the lesson plan was followed, or check that students understood what was being asked of them. To use this tool, click on the Send Question tab and type in your question. For this example, we will ask how much of the lesson objective do the students believe they have achieved. You can request a yes or no answer, a written answer, or, as in this example, you can give the user multiple choice answers to select from. Clicking on Send will result in every user receiving the question. When a user responds to the question, the results are then immediately displayed in your Quick Question window. Last but certainly not least are our online safety tools, including one of the world's most comprehensive keyword libraries. Education Pro empowers staff to help identify young people who are at risk from their online behaviour, enabling them to address this behaviour quickly and easily in real time. In line with the expectations of school inspectorates such as Ofsted and ISI, we ensure that teaching staff can play their essential part in delivering a truly managed approach to online safety. Education Pro includes a comprehensive keyword library of over 4,000 terms, helping you to provide a safe learning environment to users of digital devices and ensuring that staff can fulfill their duty of care in relation to online safety. When there is a keyword detected anywhere on the network, a captcha is created. Education Pro alerts staff members to captchas in several ways, including via a pop-up window which appears on their desktop, or in a number of ways through the console itself. You can see here that we have 5 devices on our screen, and one of those devices has a red bar at the top. This red bar indicates that this particular user has had a captcha identified against a specific keyword or phrase. If we go to our Computer List view, once again we can see that the captcha has been identified and is highlighted in red. We can also see that this particular user has had 5 captchas during the current session. By drilling down into that and selecting the Captchas option, we can see more specific detail about the captchas. This includes a list of the captchas that have occurred, a notification of their severity, and whether or not a screenshot and video has been taken. We can see in this example that a video has been taken for some of the more severe keyword captchas. We can also see the trigger for this captcha, which in this case involves the words cotton wool method. We can see the type of captcha, which in this case is a written word captcha, and we are also given a description which explains why this keyword is of concern. In this case, the cotton wool method is linked to an extreme dieting technique involving eating cotton wool to suppress hunger. In isolation and without context, the words cotton wool method may seem innocuous, but if a staff member has noticed a student becoming withdrawn or experiencing dramatic weight loss, this could be the missing piece of the puzzle, which leads to the student receiving the help that they need. Education Pro's classroom management functionality provides a range of classroom control, instruction and monitoring tools, empowering teachers to use technology in their lessons with confidence. Impero Education Pro's online safety functionality has been developed in response to increasing concerns about safety online. With real-time alerts and the ability to monitor activity, schools are able to deter inappropriate behaviour and highlight safeguarding incidents as and when they actually occur. Keyword detection identifies keywords, phrases, abbreviations, or acronyms which are typed, used, or viewed anywhere on the network, helping schools to pinpoint potentially vulnerable students engaged in at-risk behaviour. Impero's advanced policy system also enables schools to add their own terms or phrases to the keyword library and specify the actions that they wish to apply to those triggers. To add keywords quickly and simply, click on the Group option and select Advanced Policies. Scroll down to your chosen policy, select Add a new term, and type in the written word or phrase that you want to add. You will see a number of options available to you in terms of where and how you want keywords to be captured. In this example, we want to look for this keyword as a written word or phrase, and we want to search Outlook mail content, website URLs, and addresses. We have also chosen to detect the keyword rather than automatically block it. You can also provide information on the reason why this term is of concern, and then set the severity of the term to minor, moderate, or severe. In the Advanced Options window, we can see that Impero is set to take a screenshot of every capture automatically, but there are a range of other advanced options that can be applied. When a capture occurs, you may choose to send a message to the student alerting them to the capture. When captures are deemed as severe, you may want to record the user's screen for a set amount of time so that you can see the context in which the term was being used. You may also want to email alert a particular member of staff that a capture has taken place, with options to set email alerts by user or device group, by a specific keyword policy, and by severity. In the Impero console, we can see that two of the devices have a red bar across the top. This red bar indicates that a capture has occurred on those devices. Within the computer list view, the devices are also highlighted in red, and the number of captures which have occurred on each device is displayed. Looking at this in more detail, we can also see the recent history of each device, helping to establish additional context about the capture that has occurred. The captures are highlighted in chronological order, and we can also see the policy related to the trigger word, phrase, or abbreviation, and the type of trigger that has been detected, such as a written word or a Windows caption, for example. We are also given a description of the term, and we are advised whether a screenshot or video has been taken. Within Impero, you can also look at the captures for a particular group. To do this, click on the Admin tab, select Log Viewer, and click on the group you want to look at. In this example, we're going to look at the captures for the entire network. You can select to see the logs for a specific date and get an overview of the captures that have occurred during this time. As well as viewing the captures that have taken place, we are also able to see the window history for all of those devices, the applications that have been used, and the websites that have been visited. This gives staff crucial information about what happened before and after each capture was triggered, offering them additional context about the incident. After a capture has taken place, staff have the option to add a note on the system, detailing the measures that have taken place to address the incident. This feature strengthens a school's ability to ensure a managed approach to e-safety and evidence the policies and procedures required to safeguard students effectively. Impero Education Pro's online safety functionality has been developed in collaboration with a range of charities, safeguarding experts, and specialist organizations to ensure that Impero is the first to respond to the changing online safety landscape. Impero Education Pro includes a comprehensive suite of network administration tools designed to help IT teams streamline networks, improve efficiency, and save time. Impero's power management tools enable you to control power usage across the network. By tracking idle time and implementing appropriate policies, you can save money and demonstrate a significant return on investment for your school. As an example, selecting a group followed by the power management icon will display a series of different options. Impero starts to track power usage the moment it is installed on a device, and we recommend having a minimum of 2 weeks usage data before running initial reports. These reports help to identify when and where devices are wasting energy For example, when devices are idle for long periods of time or left powered on unnecessarily, such as during evenings or weekends. Once you have identified where energy is being wasted, you can enforce reasonable power usage policies to reduce this. We can improve power management on devices in a number of ways, and you may want to use a combination of these. As well as saving money, the power management features can help to improve efficiency, both in the classroom and with regards to network admin tasks. For example, you can schedule software updates to take place overnight. You can power on devices using Wake on LAN at 2 a.m. and apply any updates or patches, scheduling those devices to then power off again 30 minutes later. By powering on devices in preparation for the start of a lesson period, you can also ensure that devices are ready for students to use without delay. If your school day begins at 8 a.m., you may decide to schedule devices to power on at 7:30 a.m., giving them enough time for any updates to be applied and avoiding disruption during the school day. To do this, select Power On and then click on Schedule. In this example, we will schedule the power on at 6 in the morning from Monday to Friday, although we do have the option to select by 5-minute intervals should we wish. We are also going to schedule the devices off at the end of the day at 6 p.m. We can set this policy to make sure it takes place every day, ensuring that devices aren't left on overnight unnecessarily. You can also set policies for when a device is left idle for a set amount of time. So, for example, if a device is idle for 2 minutes, you may want to turn off the monitor. Alternatively, you may want a device to go into hibernation, or you may want a device to go into standby mode after a set amount of time. Impero's network management tools help you to minimize risk, protect your network from exposure to threats, and patch vulnerable software to the latest version with our patch management module. These all serve to strengthen your endpoint security by preventing a host of network vulnerabilities and ensuring a safe digital learning environment. To demonstrate this, we will use USB tracking as an example. We start by selecting the demo group before clicking onto USB tracking in the Admin tab. We then need to select the group of devices we want to look at. As we can see here, this is allowing all unencrypted USB devices, and it is allowing all unknown devices as well. By selecting this option, I am now only allowing encrypted devices to be connected to those devices in the network. When we talk about allow-only devices, this refers to a known device that has been defined as secure for your network. By definition, known devices have an appropriate level of encryption applied, ensuring that the school's Data Protection Act responsibilities are being fulfilled. In other words, we know who has access to remove data from the network and which devices they are able to use to do this. Education Pro's network management and desktop utilization tools help you to ensure that IT hardware resources are used effectively. With an increased demand for devices in education across classrooms, IT suites, learning resource centres and learning hubs, plus the growing trend towards mobile devices, hardware that is not fully utilised is often seen as a waste of money, especially when budgets are already stretched. To make the most of your hardware and to make informed investment decisions, it's important that network managers and IT directors have a way of monitoring how devices are being utilised. A key element of Education Pro's power management feature is utilization reporting for devices across the network, helping you to identify usage hotspots so you can resource accordingly. This may mean increasing the number of devices or increasing the specification of frequently used devices. Utilization reporting can also help inform timetabling decisions, helping you to identify times during the school day when devices are not being used. To help demonstrate this, we will select the Admin tab within the EdPro console and select the Power Management option. Selecting the Reports tab and defining our report criteria, such as a date range, and selecting either the entire network or a group of devices, collates both power and utilization data. From within the Usage Analysis tab, we can select the Group Utilization option. By refreshing the report using this option, the data is broken down into time segments, highlighted here in the report along the bottom. By exporting these reports, this data can be shared with relevant stakeholders throughout the school. Education Pro is designed to save network managers and IT directors time, allowing them to respond to issues and fix problems remotely, saving valuable hours in the day, reducing class downtime waiting for support, and allowing them to provide support over a large campus. For the purposes of this demonstration, we have selected Device Group IT Lab 1 as our example. Presenting relevant device information and being able to drill down into specific devices themselves helps you to identify the key properties of the device. We can also look at the current status of the devices, looking at the windows or browser tabs they currently have open or the applications in use. This is useful, for example, when you are trying to diagnose device-specific issues. From our live thumbnail view, Education Pro provides staff with remote access to computers in order to fix a problem, lend assistance, or demonstrate how things should be done. This is not only relevant to IT staff, but is equally useful in the classroom itself, when staff wish to show exemplar material to students. For the IT team, the ability to record the screen of a device for a specified period of time is useful when seeking to identify the cause of a technical issue and also when evidencing that issue to third parties. It is also, once again, perfect in the classroom when teachers want to demonstrate best practice to peers or collect evidence for inclusion in coursework. Impero Education Pro's network management functionality enables IT staff to remotely track, monitor, and manage resources across an entire school network, saving time and improving efficiency. Impero Insight is an optional cloud-based analytics and reporting module for Impero Education Pro. Displaying important safeguarding data, it highlights trends in keyword detection data and is accessible on any device type. Impero Insight automatically pulls data from one or multiple servers into intuitive, interactive, and informative predefined dashboards, with the ability to drill down to a granular level, summarizing data for a trust, individual school, class, or student. There are 4 dashboards, one for teachers, one for designated safeguarding leads or pastoral care teams, one for the senior leadership team, and one for the network manager or IT director. The key focus for the senior leadership team dashboard is to help find school-wide efficiencies, help demonstrate and evidence outstanding leadership, evaluate the efficacy of interventions, and promote school-wide responsibility standards. The dashboard for network managers helps them to focus on the data by priority, filter the data easily and intuitively, and then share their findings with relevant stakeholders. This is particularly useful when network managers are tasked with monitoring the captured data themselves. The designated safeguarding lead dashboard helps you to identify worrying trends, evaluate the efficacy of interventions, and focus attention on at-risk students, validating and evidencing a referral when it is deemed appropriate. It also helps to empower all staff to identify concerns. The dashboard for teaching staff helps to ensure that staff can fulfill their statutory safeguarding responsibilities. Focusing only on specific students under their care and tracking trends can help teaching staff to identify concerns that require closer inspection, supported by the ability to drill down to a granular level when it is required. Impero Insight can be accessed either via a user's web browser or directly from within the Impero console, using the External Tools option, as I'm demonstrating here. Our demonstration dashboards have example data from 10 different servers to emulate a multi-academy trust or school group. Each dashboard has a filter level at the top, allowing you to filter the data by school, by device or user group, and by individual user. You can also filter by one of Impero's keyword policies, as well as filtering by how captures are triggered and by their severity and status. And finally, you can filter by a date range. This particular dashboard filters the data by showing the top 10 keyword captures. If we select a specific school, you can see that the visualization below updates to show only the data for that particular school, as well as a total of the captures for each keyword policy. By selecting a second school, for example the 2 primary schools within the school group, the visualizations update once again to show data for both of these schools. By selecting a specific keyword policy on the right, I can then update the visualizations to show only the captures for the drugs and substance misuse policy. Developed in response to customer feedback and needs, Impero Insight helps schools and multi-academy trusts to support good decision-making and best practice, demonstrate outstanding leadership, and keep students safe.